Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pull Up 3. I am Paragon Don,
I am Jamae.
And I'm Jay Trent.
and today we'll be talking about Tina Charles and specifically her legacy on the game and all that she's done. We'll talk about Maya Moore and her retirement for a little bit. We'll talk about some of Sunday's matchups. That was August the 25th. Um, the refereeing, especially post All-Star break, and coaching, especially the rant from Noah. I wouldn't necessarily call it a rant, but just the soundbite from Noah Quinn and some of the stuff that her and Skylar Diggins was talking about their last game after the game against the Mystics. Um, First, we can talk about Tina. Uh, really, she doesn't get enough credit. The WNBA barely want to post her when she break a record. Uh, and and she I would imagine she's a sports best player that doesn't have a ring, if I could think off the top of my head. Um, but like she ain't never seen a shot. She ain't like, and I can appreciate her willingness to help all the young players. Like you could just tell she actively looks for them when games are over, especially like the advice she gave Angel. We talked about it on multiple episodes, but like telling her like, hey, like go ahead and slow down for me for a little, just a little bit. And Angel went on that run of like pretty efficient games. She might need to talk to Angel again. But just her willingness to do that. And I like, when it comes down to it, it's very easily one of the best players to ever play, arguably the best scorer to ever play. And like, you know, her legacy is hard to deny. She doesn't always get the credit that she deserves and or needs. I do think the W is getting better at trying to highlight players that are not Diana and Sue, especially since they retired, and whoever else. But like, still, I don't want her to leave the game again and not get some type of like farewell tour at the very least, because her coming back to Atlanta was very unexpected. Her coming back to the game at all was very unexpected. So uh, I do hope that she gets the flowers that she deserves to get before she decides to hang it up permanently.
Yeah. So like Don said, I was kind of surprised when Tina decided to sign with the Dream. But and it's funny because I kind of feel like the this current iteration of the Dream needs Tina Charles. Like there has to be some sort of rhyme or reason to the offense, especially when Ryan Howard doesn't have her shot. Like in the game yesterday against the Fever, Ryan didn't have her shot for probably the at least the first half, some of the third quarter too, and I feel like Tina was there to bring some juice to that. And sometimes it can be frustrating. Like sometimes she'll take a shot that will be outside of the flow of the offense, but there's moments, especially with the way that this team is constructed, where nobody's shooting it. So she's basically saying, "Well, I'll take it because I don't care if I miss. Y'all must be worried about y'all percentages or something." So, yeah, I appreciate what she's brought, and that was a cool moment to see her get to number two all time in scoring, and yeah, I thought that was a cool thing. I'm glad that she's still playing, that she can get some more recognition before she decides to retire.
The thing that I think is funny about Tina Charles is the same way I feel about Natasha Howard is like I feel like the older vets are just like, they don't really care about efficiency. They're like, you know what, I feel like they have the best idea of like, you have to like shoot the ball to score. And I feel like that's something that the younger players don't really have. And so it's really actually cool to see her like to bring that to the dream, and like just how like, especially post All-Star, she's like been more efficient and fitting in better with the dream. It's like part of me kind of wants them to make the playoffs so that I can see her like, you know, again, but we don't know. We'll see. And I do hope she stays another year because I feel like she's like working well with the dream. But we'll see. I will say I did not know that Tina Charles won Rookie of the Year. Well, I knew she won Rookie of the Year in 2010, but I didn't know her MVP was only like 2 years later. And that's like kind of wild to think about, like how good you have to be to like be basically a sophomore, junior in the league, and now you're one of the top dogs. So like I think that's really cool, and I think just speaks to just how effective she was. And even now, like I feel like as she's like gotten in time with the league, that it's like her game is coming back to her. So that's really fun to see. I do, one thing I want to know about Tina Charles is at the beginning of the season, Diana Taurasi was talking about how like, you know, sometimes her prep work is different now because she's like gotten older. And so instead of her, you know, doing 30 minutes and getting ready, like now she'll take an hour or 2 hours. And so I really want to know if like the difference between what Tina's prep works look like. So I hope that like maybe she gets to do like a what's the LaChina Robinson off day.
Yeah.
I hope
What's it
she gets
called?
like off day interview, and like we kind of get a little bit more about where she is now in her career. And two, just like getting to talk about like maybe she don't even have to go in depth, but just talking a little bit about what happened in like 2022 and like where her mind, her headspace was. I feel like she talked about it a little bit when she like first came back, but I'd be interested in hearing that story and just kind of wanting to know where she like why she just decided all of a sudden now.
Speaking of Diana, I did really like that little interaction they had where they were interviewing her and Diana was like, "Do you ever think that uh you'll be number one in scoring eventually?" And it was just very, very Diana. Um, and Jay, I have a question for you, and this may sound crazy, but hear me out. Would you say that Tina Charles is y'all Al Horford? Yeah,
You
see?
know what? See, okay, because I love Al Horford. I know it's like I know it's not something we've talked about on here like much at all, if ever. But I love Al Horford's game. Um, I can see some of that, especially more so what Al Horford was to the Celtics this year than what Al Horford was when he was with Atlanta.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
I yeah, yeah, I can see that though because you know she's there to kind of train up the young players to say when the like when the defense breaks down, what do you look to do? When they throw this defensive coverage at you when you got the ball, what do you look to do? So like it's different from it's kind of a coach on the court, and it's there's there's something that's added to that when she's on the floor. So I can see that.
That's one to, but yeah, you know, we love Tina. She's great. Like we said, I wish they were better at acknowledging records. I think when Dewana was fourth, they only like tweeted about it or something. Um, they could definitely do better with fanfare because we talked about this last episode. Stories are so important, and telling stories are so important. And the average person especially who just started watching this year due to Angel, Caitlin, Cam, whatever, it's just not gonna know how much Tina Charles has impacted women's basketball based on what things are put in the forefront. Um, but I mean, like I said, that's arguably the best scorer ever. So um, hopefully she continues to provide for Atlanta as long as possible, be that anchor for them offensively, and continue to coach up, and she can keep mentoring these young players and doing what they got to do. Because I feel like what's probably going to end up happening is a lot of these players are going to get to like base third, fourth year when they really get like really good, and people are going to be like, oh, like what kind of sparked your change? And a lot of them are going to be like, I talked to Tina. Like I can only imagine, especially like Angel. I know for a fact when she get into like year 3 or 4 and she stopped laying the ball up like that, and she get real confident and with her footwork and all that. Like I know a lot of that is going to be a testament to like, well, of course, her hard work and dedication, because she obviously very like her motor is just unmatched. But I can imagine a lot of that she'll contribute to like working out with Asia and more than likely Tina and people like that, because that's what she looked up to in the first place. So, you know, I'm very excited for the future of the rest of her playing career and whatever else she decides to do after that, because I know any front office role, player development role, um, coaching for college team, whatever, she'll have use to somebody. Um, Also with Maya Moore, she had her retirement yesterday. Lord knows there's probably never been a player as good at their sport that got taken away from the game that early that wasn't due to injury. If like everyone else is either like, damn, they got hurt. Like if Jordan would have committed in '93, it'd be him and Maya. But like everyone else is like, oh, they just got hurt or drugs or something illegal. I don't know. But Maya was really like, I'm about to say this nigga life. And she found the love of her life. And she was like, you know what? Don't even care about that sport anymore. Going to the final 6 out of your 8 years and winning 4 of them things, and like just the absolute dominance and she displayed at every level of basketball. I can only imagine what the landscape of the W would look like if she was still playing now, because Lord knows, like she would have been on like 3 more USA teams. Um, I'm sure the Wolves or Lynx, excuse me, Wolves, Lynx would have been ran off at least like 2 more. Um, I don't know, like it was just so much promise, and as much as she gave, she still had so much more in the tank. So it was just really crazy to see. Um, but I do like all that the Lynx were able to like do for her and show her off, and like another person, her legacy is absolutely undeniable. So, you know, I know we all joke about, curse that man, but I'm happy that she's happy at the very least. But it is very insane.
But like for them to win 4, but like not straight, but like every other year, I honestly almost feel like that's a little bit harder. Well, I would say it's harder to win 4 straight, but because winning 4 straight is insane. But like for it to like be able to like win one, go to the next one, you're like, all right, we ain't quite got it, and then you go one more year, and you get it, and then you next year you're like, I ain't quite got it. And to just honestly, just to kind of be committed to the bit like that is like kind of crazy. But it's actually kind of fucking cool because it's like, dang, like y'all really was like, we gotta lock in and like we got to do this. Like we can do this. We can, if we just, you know, buckle down, we can do this. And so I don't know why I was like thinking about that when they were talking about her, like her whole retirement thing. I was like, damn, like winning one every other year is kind of crazy. Like to just show up and you're like, all right, you know, because a lot of teams win one and then they just kind of fizzle out. But it's like you win one every other year for like 8 years. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
She kind of ate that. She kind of ate that.
The only teams they lost to in the finals were the Sparks with Candace Parker and Nneka Ogwumike and Chelsea Gray, and they lost to Jermaine's very own India and the Fever
Tamika Catchings.
and Tamika. Like,
don't forget it.
and Tamika is arguably like the greatest player ever. So,
bro, did y'all see the screenshot of like I think it was Nneka who reached like 600 steals the other day.
Yeah, and there were only like 10 players.
Yeah, and Tamika Catchings was at the top with like 1,000. Like I already know that Tamika Catchings is the GOAT. I really want to meet her, and everybody's like, this is like a sidetrack rant. But anyway, I'm like, I really want to meet Tamika Catchings. Like she's obviously like the GOAT of women's basketball. Like I started watching like Tennessee highlights because I'm like, this lady is crazy. I love her. But everybody's like, you know, she has a tea shop in Indy, and so they're like, oh, just go to her tea shop and like you'll run into her. And I kid you not, I've been to this lady's tea shop like 3 times. The last time I went there with my friends, and they was like, oh, because one of my friends, her wife is like super into basketball too. And she was like, yeah, we was just up here talking to Tamika before you got here. I was like, why didn't you call me? Why did you tell me? But yeah, I'm just like, I just love her. And she's kind of an icon. And just to have 1,000 steals, and like the next closest person has like 700 maybe, is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that could be that might be one of the, you know, unbreakable sports records that like eventually you can see somebody like catching it. But it seems like one of those records that'll stand for like 30 years before anybody gets close to it. Um, in terms of Maya Moore, like looking at her resume, you just if you like run everything off, it's so wild to me that this player retired at 29. There there's so much to like you retired at 29, have one of the most decorated careers ever, and people still consider you a what if. Like, what do you mean? Because I mean, the only thing left would have been, you know, to like you said, probably accumulate more rings, accumulate more counting stats. Um, imagining, I know that they were saying that when the Lynx um picked up Nafisa Collier, the plan was for her and Maya to play together at some point. And just the way that like seeing the way that team looks now, just the way that they've been able to try to rebound from that, and even giving credit to what was basically a dynasty before that, which kind of culminated one when Sylvia Fowles retired. But that's such a cool story. Maya Moore's entire story is something to marvel at. So I I was glad that I got to watch the retirement ceremony, but that's because I have League Pass because it wasn't on TV. But so shame on
boo.
y'all. Shame on y'all. I don't know if it's the 4-letter network or one of them other ones. Somebody could have picked the phone up.
No, that's them because your bitches have opportunities. And the thing that kind of pissed me off about that is that like her retirement, like ESPN, first of all, why wouldn't you want that? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, we just talked about Maya Moore being the GOAT, but y'all are really going to hell because y'all have taken every other opportunity to put Caitlin Clark on ESPN. And you mean to tell me when Caitlin Clark watches her her GOAT, her literal icon, the lady who made her wanted to play basketball, when she watches her retirement ceremony in the day that she plays that team, y'all don't want to put it on TV? Hello? What are we doing? And then they're also going to hell because it was on, I think it was actually technically on NBA TV, but it's like, fuck NBA TV, whatever. But this shit was blacked out. Like, I don't even live close to Minnesota. Why I blacked out? Like, Valley Sports, y'all are going to hell. Like, y'all are going to hell. So, 2 thumbs down to that 4-letter network.
Also, side note, absolutely thumbs down to ESPN because I think people were, a lot of people blame the WNBA for like certain things not being on TV, and understandably so, or like when games be like all of them be at 7:30, which is super ugly. But also, I think after that article came out that was like, yeah, they were trying to get this put somewhere, but ESPN was just like, nah. It's like you could see so at least sometimes that they be trying and these networks are actively sabotaging them, especially ESPN. Like you see the way the growth of the game is, and y'all are still refusing to put this on TV. So then y'all could be like, yeah, this isn't profitable. Or so then when this don't reach certain numbers and they have to negotiate their TV rights for where this is going, it's like, oh, y'all only got this amount of numbers on such and such. Well, it's like, well, yeah, nigga, it's your fault. uh niggas hitting a million views on CBS and like 70K, 700K on NBA TV and whatever else. Like these games are getting a large amount of views for the circumstances that they have. So yeah, I just thought that was crazy. Um, but what I was looking at was some of Tamika Catching's stats, and currently she is top 15 in blocks. She is top 10 in assists. She is number 1 in steals, like y'all said, by a very large margin. She's at 1074, and Pinchero is at 764, and Sue Bird is at 724. So it ain't like the next active player is NECA, and she's at 600. So it ain't nobody that's really getting close to that at the moment. Let me see. Rebounds, she's top 5. Uh, like a point, she's top 5 because Dewana just passed her. So, I know we talk about when people have these GOAT debates, she's left out a lot of the time. I do feel like a lot of the fanfare per se goes to like Diana and Sue and Maya, but just because it's like the story, and Candace, but like Tamika is Tamika very well has a case just as much as everyone else. And I know that's not what this segment was about, but if we're talking about just like honoring people, she definitely deserves that. So Jermaine, I do hope you get to meet her one day because she does seem like a very sweet lady.
Sure.
Okay. So now we can go into Sunday's matchups. I guess we could talk about the aces in the sky first. Just because. As much as I appreciate the fact that the aces won, these niggas, bro. It's crazy because even though Asia shot like shit, she was very easily the best player on the team. And I don't know. It's like, what are we doing? What I don't know. I honestly I think we can combine this and what Noah Quinn and Skylar Diggins Smith was talking about. I think there's only so much preparation that a coach can do, and at a certain point, it's about what happens on the court. And just because things don't work out on the court does not mean the coach did anything wrong, which is why I do have to defend Coach uh, Teresa Witherspoon on that play call. I don't think she did nothing wrong. Shit just happens. Kelsey Plum set a fantastic screen. I don't give her props very often, but that was a she's strong as hell, and she used that strong as hell screen perfectly. Chelsea Gray had to throw a fucking dot over Camila Cardoso, and Camila damn 8'4". Asia, they just Chelsea and Asia just so happen to have the like Asia just happens to have fantastic hands. And if Camilla was in the paint, I could only imagine Kelsey probably would have screened her the same way. And Chelsea would have had an easier pass over the top. So it's like, I don't know. If there were, if anything, if Camilla was there, I can imagine Becky would have just adjusted the play to having Asia take a wide open mid range in some way, because they just know how to adjust. But like, bad things happening does not mean it's the coach's fault. This goes for Teaspoon. This go for Tanisha Wright. This go for Chrissy Sides. Whoever else is one to apply to. Like, sometimes shit just happens on the basketball court that you cannot help. And there are breakdowns. And if everything was that easy, every team would be winning at some point. And teams just don't. But I don't like that when we talk about people like Angel and Caitlin and Rickea and all these young players, we're like, yeah, they make mistakes right now, but they're going to get better because as we should, because that's just normal basketball stuff. But when we talk about first year head coaches, it's like, nah, y'all suck. Y'all need to be fired right now. Bring in a new coach. What are we doing? That just doesn't make sense to me. You're the player, y'all are trying to fire, y'all want a coach fired that players have bought into and are happy to be around and feel accepted by. We talk about how much Angel loves Teaspoon all the time. Kennedy Carter seems to absolutely adore her and like she's found a home. And y'all want her, even if y'all do feel like she's a bad coach, which again, y'all really don't know, to be completely honest with you. Firing her is not going to do nothing but bring in somebody else that everyone else has to adjust to and learn and other things, and y'all just gonna be mad at them. It's just a cycle. It it just don't make sense. Y'all roster not good. Bad shit happen when y'all roster not good. Yeah.
Okay. So it's so funny to me seeing the the fallout from people talking about the defensive coverage on that play call and saying, "Oh, um why wasn't Camila Cardoso in the paint?" There's probably 300 examples of this. Last second, there's 1 second on the clock. Your tallest player is going to be guarding the inbound, like 9 out of 10 times, because you say, "Oh well, they know where the ball is going. It don't matter if it gets deflected." And that's what the plan is. Defensively, you say, I put the tallest player on the inbounder, so the inbounder cannot see where the entry pass is going, because that gives you a better chance to get a deflection. There's 1 second on the clock. If Camilla touches the ball, we go to OT. Like, like so, I, it's like so after Kelsey sets the screen, she gives Angel a good enough bump, and Lindsay Allen gets caught watching the ball, and that's how Asia is able to get it. But even then, that is a split second decision. And I think people don't realize how quickly these things happen because there's all of that happened within what 1.5 because I know it was 1.1 on the clock, so probably was less than a half second on the inbound. Like all of that is like one motion. So yeah, it's I understand the frustration because obviously she got the shot off and the Sky lost the game. But we've got to put our thinking caps on. Like we got to be for real because it's so clear that people are watching to react instead of watching to understand what's going on and the leverage of the situation.
Yeah, yeah, all that. Because it's just like it worked out so perfectly. Like, and I watched Siobhan break it down, and she was talking about how like Kelsey's scream wasn't that great. Like when you watch it back, she's like the angle is bad, but she did enough where she caught Angel slipping. Like, and that's honestly what she needed to do because even Lindsay getting over there, like you said, she was watching the ball. So by the time it got to Asia's hand, she tried to swat at it, but like it's Asia Wilson in the paint. Like you're not just about to do a lazy slap and it's coming out her hand. Like no, that's not happening. And two, I think I just need to like really give Chelsea Gray like credit because Camilla was jumping. Like Camilla was like full arms up, jumping up and down, and Chelsea had to just throw it like honestly like wishing on a prayer. Like here you go, and it like perfect arc enough for Asia to look up because too like Asia doesn't even. Asia, it's not like she slapped the ball when she was about to throw it. Like she just threw the bitch up, and Asia had to like get into position. And I think Chelsea said Asia was like following the shadow of the ball, but it's like you see how like complex that is for somebody to be able to catch a play. Like there was nothing that Camilla being right there. I don't really think would have made that much of a difference. Now they could have, spread the floor a little bit more instead of, trying to play them 1v1. Like maybe put them in a zone. And maybe that's better. But again, like you might get Asia on the free throw line. Money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Kelsey on the 3-point line. Unfortunately, money. Like Jackie ain't hit shit all game, but it would have been that time. I don't know. There's really no like great way to stop it because the benefit of having all of these Olympians on your team is that usually when that moment called, they arise. And I think she did what she, I think Coach Spoon like did the best she could with what she had. And I don't know. I don't be understanding people dragging coaches. Like even to Don's point earlier about like the whole effort thing, like if they would have lost, I wouldn't have been okay with it was Becky getting in the presser and being like, you can't teach effort. Because y'all let them come back from 11-point run. Like y'all needed to lock in and y'all really won't locked in like that. Thank God that y'all got who y'all got, but y'all weren't really locked in enough for it to, end smoothly. I was kind of scared for a second. I was like, ooh. So I would have respected Becky being like, you can't teach effort. And even with the fever, I've said it before, like the fever stank at the beginning of the season. Do you want to know why? Because when the game wasn't going right, Kaylin was putting her head down. She throw a bad pass, she don't get back on defense. She's not running. Kelsey Mitchell, she would take a bad shot and just keep taking bad shots. Like, Buki, give it up. Okay? Like, it's like, it's lack of effort. Like, and people were so mad when that game where the Fever played the Sun and they beat the shit out of us. And Coach Sides like benched the whole everybody but Aaliyah. And I think she had put, that was the one game Celeste played, and everybody was like, the Fever started to make a comeback, and everybody was like, well, why doesn't she put Caitlin in? I'm like, because Caitlin has stank all game. Like, she's the reason why we're down 30. She does not belong. She doesn't belong in the game. And so for Coach Sides to get out there and be like, well, I can't coach effort, people are like, no, like you have to, get them excited. And it's like, no, we're paying you. What Coach Noel Quinn said, it's an honor to wear the Seattle Storm jersey. It's an honor to be a professional basketball player. Like, you're not an accountant. You're not working at the fucking get-go. You are being paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to play on TV. You need to act like it. You can have a bad day sometimes, but you can't keep showing up here with a bad day and wanting to win. Like, they just don't go together. If you don't want to win and you want to lackadaisical, fine, do that. But don't get up there mad at nobody else, and don't be having these people calling for your coach head because you decided to get out there and not follow the game plan and not put in any energy. So, yeah. So I don't know. I think people need to cut coaches a little bit of slack. I could see if, it was a botched play. And it's actually almost funny too, because people was posting the Kelly Harper next to Teresa Witherspoon, and it's like, it was funny, but it's like not accurate because Kelly didn't defend the inbound, and that's where she fucked up. Teresa defended the inbound, and that's where she fucked up. So it's no win-win when you really think about it. Really no win-win. And it just be like that. It's basketball.
Yeah, I think something that Siobhan pointed out on her video breakdown is when the Aces came out, the left side was empty with Asia at the elbow and Kelsey on the block. So I've something that I'm trying to learn when I watch is whenever there's an empty corner, that's usually where the action is headed. So I'm sure Coach Teaspoon saw that, but it was too late, and she didn't have another timeout. So it's like, so what do? We know that the ball is going left, and we know that Asia's gonna get the ball, but I don't think the play that she called was really the wrong play. I just think that required perfect execution from the Aces, and they got it, which is funny because story of their season has been them executing things and it just not working out. Relatively speaking, of course, because they're the fourth seed. But I think um I don't think that there was any fault of the coach. I know people like to point fingers and shift blame whenever the team loses because it's like, oh, we lost. It's got to be somebody's fault. But honestly, the Sky played up to the level that they've been playing at this season.
If anything, they
it
played
just
better than
wasn't
they
enough.
normally do.
And the Aces have, I'm sure I'll get into that later. But I will say the Aces are probably glad that they played the Chicago Sky in that game because there were some issues, not even issues with the offensive process, but they were trying to generate the looks that usually go down and they weren't hitting them. But because they were playing against a young team like Chicago, they didn't play against a team that can take advantage of you missing the easy looks. Because that's for the Aces to get to the level of play that we know that they're capable of playing at, stuff has to come easy at some point. Something has to come easy. And the reason that they lost when they played New York and when they played Minnesota is because those teams are able to take advantage of the mistakes that they made. Chicago is not there yet. So the Aces were able to get it together at the end and pull it out. But that's the kind of issue they've been having all season. So we'll see.
It's funny because speaking of them, my friend sent me a TikTok like somebody complaining about how this guy were coached at the end of that game. And one of the things they talked about was the fact that Kennedy Carter didn't get in until the end of the game. And so I'm looking at the play-by-play now. So uh Kennedy Kennedy Carter got subbed out with 4:35 remaining, and the Sky were down 73-60. And by the time she gets back in, the score is 75-69. So the Sky closed the gap when Kennedy Carter was not in the game. And then, of course, Kennedy hit two straight threes to tie that bitch back up. So, like, obviously, Teaspoon subbed her out because shit was not working and they were about to lose. And, like, they were down by 13 to the Aces with 4 minutes left. And it like, if this ain't working out, this ain't working out. And she put her back in when it worked. So and then like it worked after that. So it's like, what more are you expecting her to do, or what more are you asking her to do? Um, but like we said, at the end of the day, there were so many ways that play could have went right and wrong. Lord knows, like I said earlier, if Camilla was down there, they might have ran something for Asia to take a wide open mid range. I know she was damn 17 for 55, but if she take a wide open mid range, I guarantee you that shit bread. Uh, they could have ran something where Kelsey shot a three. They could have ran something where Chelsea, or like they just pitched it back to Chelsea. They could have ran something for Jackie. Like, it's so many ways the Sky might have got to stop, and in so many ways they didn't. And we just living in a time where the Sky just so happened to have not gotten to stop. And so now people are like, this is the worst thing ever. And it's just not. And it's just not that serious. I I understand people being frustrated with losses. Um, but also, seasons are long and so many things go on, and you really have to look at things from a certain perspective. With the Sky not being expected to be good at all, the fact that they were in this position at all should be a testament to them. Like, everything does not need to be doom and gloom because they lose. Like, your young players are getting reps and doing wonderful things when it matters and getting better. And that needs to be the focus of the season. They are playing teams tough. They beat some really good teams. They beat the Sky. They beat the Sun. I'm pretty sure they beat, I mean, sorry, the Sky had beat the Liberty. I'm pretty sure they beat the Sun. They beat the Aces. Like,
Yeah.
they beat some really good teams. And as they progress, they will continue to, like, as a year by year basis, they'll get better. And that's all the niggas need. But it's not gonna start in half a season. They're not gonna go from expected to be the worst team in the league to trading arguably their best player right before the break, and then coming back and beating top teams. Like, it's just, that's just not how things go. So yeah, give coaches a break, please. They're not, we just don't know what anyone's intentions are, and we don't know what good coaching is or what bad coaching is. We really don't. It's very hard to know because it's just so many methodologies that coaches go by. So many things that they try to do, so many philosophies, and if they try to, if they're trying to do a certain thing and their players just don't execute it well, people are gonna blame the coaches, and I just don't think that makes sense. So um, now this is a coach I can actually blame to some degree. Kurt Miller.
No, actually, let me say he's going to hell. Like Kurt Miller, you should be fucking lucky they let your ass back on the plane, because there is no, bro. They put up 37 points in a quarter. The crazy thing is they put up the 37 points in a quarter. Third quarter, they put up 37 points. So many tweets was going out. Most points in a quarter. The Sparks finna beat the shit out of the Wings. The Wings need to blow it up. People were dragging the Dallas Wings. The Wings looking a little flat. Like
That was very funny.
That was funny. Who said it? Was it Sherry? That shit was funny. Anyway, people was dragging the fuck out of the Wings. And it's even us. We was like, well, y'all, Rickea Jackson going on our top performers list. And then I looked up and somebody said, wait, the Wings coming back. And then I looked at the screen and I said, hold on. Are they within two? Wait a minute. So yeah, Kurt Miller, you are a criminal. Like, you are a criminal. That is like, what's that shit called when like you be treason. Like, he had to be working for the Dallas Wings, bro, because it's just no way. It's no way, bro. And
Listen,
then to not give the final play, you wrote the final play for Stephanie Toll when Odyssey still at 25 on the bench.
I would like, I got to give context to this. Just to, I know we just made a rant on how we can't blame coaches for things, but this is a little bit of a different subject. So just a little bit. So the Sparks, first of all, Rickea Jackson had 16 in the first quarter and ended the game with 25 points. That we can't let this happen. I think she was 6 for 6 from the field and ended the game 9 for 15. At this point, you gotta let her shoot 30 shots. I don't know. Two, regarding that last shot, the reason why are these balloons here? The reason why it's so egregious is because why is it, whoa, is this what this does? Hold on. Does the peace sign make balloons? Oh, that's not doing it now. I'm trying. All right, nigga. De'Erica Hamby had 21 points on 9 for 12 shooting. Rickea Jackson had 25 points on 9 for 15 shooting. Azare Stevens had 15 on 5 for 11 shooting. Odyssey Sims had 26 points on 8 for 11 shooting. And with the game on the line, when you need a bucket most, you gave the ball to Stephanie Talbot, who had 6 points in 24 minutes. I just don't understand. The math is not math at that point. Again, I don't know what the offensive execution was. Maybe all three of them. I just can't imagine all three of them fucked up the opportunity to get the ball. So they had to get bailed out by Stephanie Talbot. I don't think that makes sense to me. So, and again, this also goes into the Sparks just aren't that good. So it could have just been more of a thing with like effort or whatever. So like this blame goes around to everybody, but especially him. The Sparks were up 92 to 73 entering the fourth quarter, and they ended up winning 110 to 113. That is absolutely everyone's fault. But there's no reason Kia Nurse should have entered the game for Rickea Jackson with 7.1 seconds I just I I don't know, dog.
Listen, listen,
I don't know,
listen,
dog.
listen, listen. I'm not one to uh to get into conspiracy theories too often, but it feels like after that 37-point second quarter, the Sparks went in the locker room. Somebody pulled Kirk Miller to the side and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "We're trying to. What are you doing? We got to make this look believable. Y'all better go out there and lay down, make it happen. Look, we gonna have these UConn fans packing this stadium out next season. Get it together."
It's so
So it's so like it just felt like in the second half, the game plan was like, "Hey, y'all y'all let Tierra McCowan cook a little bit. Y'all let Enrique cook a little bit. Like we got to we got to make it look like we put forth valiant effort in this L. Because here's the thing, what the Sparks come on like, it looks bad right now. Looking back on it, people will say, "Oh well," and this is probably what actually happened. The Sparks are a young team. Young teams don't know how to win. Like it really could just be that. That could be some of it. I really think young teams don't know how to close games. And when games get tight, that's when the age starts to show. But on top of that, it just it looks like it's not that they not trying to win, but they don't care if they lose. Cause this ain't a we trying to win season, respectfully. This is a because you come away from that saying they didn't win that game, but Rickea showed me something. So it probably feels. I mean, losing a game ain't fun, especially not losing a game like that after you scored 37 in a quarter. Um, but that's what it looked like to me. It looked very um we finna make this look legit, and we're gonna bow out gracefully and show off my player development on the way out.
I think this nigga is gonna be coaching somewhere else when the time like by the time these niggas get good, I think this nigga is just gonna be like somewhere. I don't know if his time in LA is I think he gonna get a year page and he gonna have a fun time doing it. And it just might be it. My real beef is again, the Sparks were not expected to be good. So a lot of this is just the fact that the Sparks are just not good. So they do shit that don't look good. And that's perfectly fine. It'd be like that. There's no shit. Bad teams do bad shit all the time. It happens. My real beef is the fact that your second overall pick, bless me, gets hurt 5 or 6 games in, and you have another pick, your fourth overall pick, who is arguably the best scorer in the draft. And she plays 27 minutes a game and takes 10 shots a game. There's no reason that Rickea is only taking 10 shots a game. Angel is playing 32 minutes a game and she takes 12 shots a game. Caitlin plays 35 minutes a game and takes 14 shots a game. Like, Rickea needs to be taking the most shots out of anybody in this draft class because that is just what she does. And if they don't win like that, them niggas weren't supposed to win at all. To be said, it don't matter. Her and De'Erica need to be taking the same amount of shots, and everybody else figure that shit out. So I don't know. It's again, bad teams do bad things when you have a roster with not so good players. But like the fact that Rickea didn't start from the beginning of the season and everyone was like, that's a little weird. And then she finally started starting. And then she'd had games where she has like 10 points in the first quarter, and then she won't get the ball like the rest of the game. And she'll end the game with like 14. It's like, how are we really setting her up for success? Like, and I just don't know if the Sparks are doing that much.
I want to say I'm still standing on Kurt being committing treason. I'm gonna stand on that. But I will say, I although I do agree with the idea that young teams are just bad, they are. But this is also why I don't think Kurt is the right fit for the Sparks, because there is no reason you get Rickea Jackson and then the second half, not even really the second, we keep calling it the half, but it's really beyond the half. But
it was really after the first, really after the first quarter.
Yeah, like it post like after the post Olympic break, you decide that you want to show the world why you guys picked her as high as you did. And then you're wondering why people don't have her in the Rookie of the Year conversation. Bucko, it's your fault. It's your fault. You had fucking Lexi out there bricking 6 shots a game. Like, I'm no shade to Lexi, but like, you didn't even have an offensive plan. They was going out there doing whatever they wanted. Just straight up vibes. It was so much of the Sparks first half was like, who gonna get hot today? And just for a long time, it was De'Erica Hamby. And then, then we started to see some diversity show out. We had that Kia Nurse game, and then we had the Cameron Brink game. We started to see some diversity, but like, it's like not at all clear what your offensive game plan is. And to have the players that you have, like, yeah, we expect y'all to lose. We expect y'all to stink, but we should still be able to see the talent on the floor. Like, y'all shouldn't get out there and look like, so y'all don't deserve to be here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all are WNBA players. Let's look like it. Like, Rickea Jackson has been pro ready for like a long time. And in that first part of the season, like, she was getting her 10 and 15 minutes here and there, and like, she would come in and she would be cooking folks. I'll never forget. I already knew that Rickea was ready, but there was this one time I think the Sparks played the Sun, and she had got Dewana Bonner with this like this up and under or something, and I was like, she's the one. Like, she is the prize. She is the prize, and that's it. And like, honestly, I feel like after that game, I mean, even before that, but specifically after that game, like, we should have said, Rickea, here are the keys. You and you, Kim, and De'Erica can get out there and figure it out. But the fact that Kurt hasn't like game plan for that, and the rotations are always all over the place. You don't know who's gonna play that day. Like, that is, to have a young team and that much inconsistency just doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, every coach has their, and it's like, sometimes I feel like I have mixed feelings, because it's like, with a young team, you should just try shit. Like, you have nothing to lose. But try it with a little bit of consistency, like, at least, like, you know what I'm saying? If Zaya put up 10 points in 5 minutes, at least let her start the next game or something. Like, let her see what the criteria is from game to game. Like, it sometimes it just looked like he'd wake up and he'd be like, What are my favorite numbers today? 23, 7, 45, and I'm feeling green, so you get in the game. Like, what are we doing? And so I would like to see the Sparks move away from him. I'm not really sure who they can bring in to like help them rebuild, but I don't think he's the answer.
I think the Sparks coach, or I think Kurt Miller and what you call the Washington coach, Magic Man,
The Mystic Man.
Mystic Man. I think they need to. I think they need to switch.
It's funny because the Mystics won yesterday, so I'm sure the Tank Hive is calling Kurt like, see, more separation every day. Every time they win, every time they win, we get a half step closer. But
Uh,
I kind of wonder. I wonder sometimes with um coaches that coach young teams. I wonder when does it kind of click for you that this is a lost season, that y'all not gonna be out there winning a bunch of games. Because it's like you say, oh yeah, we had the number 2 pick and we had the number 4 pick, and Neka Gumake left and Jordan Canada left, and like they blew it up. So they're going into the season like, look, we're not gonna be winning that much. And I'm imagining being a coach in that situation and being like, well, I'm finna be doing what I can to win these games. So we finna see as little of these rookies as possible because we finna get some experience out here so we can win these games. And when you still losing, I'm sure it sets in and you like, all right, all right, we're gonna let the young end play. This season is over, and but I wonder when it starts to set in for coaches that are coaching young teams like that, and you start saying, okay, so now we gotta work these young players in, see what they can do, see what they can't do. Because part of me feels like the reason Rickea wasn't getting a lot of burn from jump is because Rickea is a big wing, and I feel like Kurt didn't trust her guarding big wings. So you probably say, well, let's sit her and we're gonna try and work her in because we need her shot creation. But she can't give all of those back on the other end. But it comes to a point where, not to say let her get cooked, but until you get better, like it's trial by fire at some point. So I think it's the right move to leave her out there and let her go to work. But I can imagine some of the defensive possessions looking frustrating because she's taking very tough defensive matchups on a nightly basis. Like there are a lot of big wings in the league that are difficult to guard. But that's part of growing pains. That's part of being a young team. So you kind of got to live with it.
Do you wonder? I mean, I actually think that's a good question. Like, I wonder, like, how front offices go out. I still think Kurt should be fired, but I will say I think, like, I do wonder, like, how you are able to set expectations. Like, I don't know. I feel like you could have looked at the Sparks roster and been like, y'all not gonna be that good. You know what I'm saying? Like, just given the personnel that you have. And last year, your team kind of stank. They missed the playoffs, and you had NECA putting up MVP numbers, and the point guard that was carrying you with her, she gone too. So if y'all stink then, and y'all ain't got them no more, why would you think you would get better? Like, so some of that is like, okay, like, maybe we win 6 games and we call it a good season. You know what I'm saying? We get somebody. We got to get somebody. But I do wonder, and like, and that's the things, like, I don't think I'm not saying get rid of Kurt because they losing. Like nobody expected them to win. But to just not have a plan and to lean so that heavy when clearly Cam and Rickea are supposed to be y'all next big thing just seems extremely silly. Like it just is like you're wasting everybody's time here because this is who we putting our future in, and you letting them sit on the bench because you think you might win a game with Laisha Clarendon and Stephanie Talbot at the helm and Kia Nurse gonna get you some threes. Like I don't think that's really. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that.
I think Jay asked a good question. I think when the Sparks lost to the Mercury, 68-87, the 8th game of the season, I would have been like, all right, it's looking kind of bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now when they lost to Washington, I think that really should have been on July the 2nd. I think that really should have been like, all right, yeah, if you are over the age of 26, don't even think you touching this court. I'm sorry to tell you. I got some bad news for everybody. So let me go to the Sparks roster. So Alexi Brown, sorry. De'Erica play. Laisha, no. It would have been Lee Rue, Rickea Jackson, Ray Burrell, Isaiah, and Ari, and everybody else would have had to figure that shit out. And because it's like, what are y'all doing with me at this point? I can play y'all, but y'all not winning. We not winning either way.
No, but we joking, but like add De'Erica Hamby, and that's their lineups. That's been winning. Like that's their actual good lineup.
Yeah, you might as well. Yeah, at this point, they might as well. Which I mean, they kind of doing it, but you have to. I don't want to say go out there and tank because obviously you can't do that. But you gotta be honest and say we're not making a playoff run. We not like what we can do is show off this young talent, play spoiler for a couple of good teams, because those wins are going to boost morale going forward. I'm sure it's tough going into a locker room after losing so many consecutive games. Like I know it has to be tough. So, those wins kind of, make sure the youngins keep their head up because, too many losses can be demoralizing. But yeah, this is I mean, you kind of you gotta realize saying, okay, this is not our year. But what can we set the foundation for? What can we build on going forward with whatever rookie we bring in, whether it's Paige Beckers or Kiki Iriafen or whoever? Like, what are we building on when they come? And that's kind of where LA is now.
All I need is De'Erica telling Rickea and Lee and Ari and Cam, just like the same way that John Wall was telling the Houston Rockets players when they was losing, like, this is not what the league is. Like, do not get used to this. Because as soon as you get used to this, that's how you get stuck. That's all I need from her, to be honest. I mean, she's definitely doing an amazing job. I do appreciate that. I think had looked at this before, but she had a list of things that she kind of wanted to get done and like be all-star and all this other stuff. She would definitely be in the MVP conversation if the Sparks are better. Um, but like she's absolutely fantastic. So all credit to her. All thumbs down to Kurt Miller for the time being. I think he need to. I just do not think he's a bad coach by any means. I just don't think he's a fit for this team. I think Kurt needs to be coaching teams that need one more piece for a championship. I actually think if for some reason like Latricia Trammell doesn't work out, I feel like he would be a great coach for the Wings. Oh, Jamae and Jay made different faces.
He's already making criminal acts. I don't know because the Wings are still too young for him.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
If he want to go see the Liberty, I think he could make some shake with.
If they don't, listen, if they don't win this year for whatever reason.
Oh, y'all already know how I feel about Sandy. This is our last opportunity. This is our last.
Yeah, I feel like Kurt is kind of a give him a roster that's ready to compete right now type coach. Like when he was coaching with Connecticut. Like that was that like he's that kind of coach. Hold on. What else we get to? I got a lot to say about a lot of teams.
Well, let me before you get into that. I just want to say this one thing.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I just want to say this one thing about Rickea Jackson before we get into these other teams. I was trying to find like her splits on a quarter by quarter basis, but I don't have that. But what I do have is her splits on how many minutes she plays. So Rickea has played. So she's played 4 games where she played in between 10 to 19 minutes. She averaged 5 points, 2 rebounds on 25% shooting. She has 16 games where she played in between 20 to 29 minutes, and she averaged 12 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. She has 9 games where she played in between 30 and 39 minutes, and she averaged 17 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. It's very obvious. I mean, of course, more minutes means more production for anybody, but she's obviously extremely efficient. I think she's probably the only rookie that averages over 10 points, is shooting 50% from the field or something like that. Or what is she shooting? She shoots 47% from the field. So I know for a fact she's the only rookie that shoots that high of a percentage. Because Caitlin shoots 42, and Angel, I don't even have to look at, but I know it's below 40.
I think she might be at like 38 right now.
I wish I could find what it was.
I saw that tweet the other day that broke down their
Here it
actual
is.
stats.
Yeah. It says Rickea Jackson is the only rookie scoring more than 10 points a game and shooting better than 45%.
It's like just give her the ball. just get out the ball, give her the ball, get the hell out the way. It's all I ask.
Yeah, I love watching her offensively. Like I love when she's like at the top of the key or at the nail and can get to her one dribble pull up. Like I love watching that. And she's like a willing shot creator at all 3 levels. I don't know what her 3-point numbers look like. I know that in Sunday's game she was like 6 for 8 from 3. So like when she has it going, it's just yeah. I love watching her score the basketball. Like I love that kind of game. And she's not scared to take a mini either.
Bro, Rickea Jackson's fucking fadeaway, bro. Every time Rickea Jackson takes a fadeaway, I'm just like, This is what basketball was made for. Like this is what we come alive for. This is why we were here. This is why we were brought here. It's like I think like it's like Asia has like I think Asia right now has like the best mid range. No, well, yeah, Asia kind of has the best mid range, and then it's Courtney Williams. But Rickea Jackson is creeping up on that list. Creeping up on that list. I don't know what the numbers say, but the eye test says Rickea Jackson creeping up on that list.
Yeah, those Asia and Courtney Williams are definitely the queens of the midi right now. Matter of fact, um, Courtney Williams in that that last Lynx game against the Aces, I don't know if she missed a mid range. Like it was like that was poetry in basketball form, as far as I'm concerned. Because she stopped 15 feet, and it was just I love to see that.
Uh, what we say was next, or what teams did you
We
guys
was
want to
actually
see?
supposed to talk about how Dallas won. I will say
Oh, dear God. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say to the Dallas thing, we weren't supposed to talk about rookies, and here we are, Rickea Jackson show. Anyway, to Dallas, I just want to say that a lot of people be talking crazy about Tierra McCowan because every day is she got an attitude, she's lazy, she blah blah blah. Okay, but Tierra McCowan is officiated poorly. Number one, but number two, she saved that game, and that watching that replay is so funny because Satu has the ball and Cheryl Swoops is on the commentating and she's like, give the ball to Enrique. Like, get the ball to Enrique. And Enrique standing in the back, like waving her hands, like, hello, like, give me the ball. And Tia just Satu takes a shot, Tia gets in position and gets the board twice, misses the first one, gets the board, puts it back up. I think she had a double that game. And it's like, I understand what everybody says. If she's locked in, she can get a double every game easy. And I don't disagree with that. I agree with that. But I love Tierra and I love that like her willingness to just kind of like do the dirty work because a lot of players don't want to do that. And I think now because of Angel, people are, or at least not because of Angel, but just in the space now because of that. Angel's getting a lot of credit for that, but I think Tierra is like one of the players who's playing like that and doing it well. Like, I don't know what her putback rate is, but her shooting percentage is pretty good. And I mean, her around the rim percentage is pretty good. And so I'm actually like really proud of her too, because I feel like, especially with Kalani being there, sometimes like Coach Trammell will put Kalani in, or Tierra might have to sit down because she gets in foul trouble or whatever the case may be. So I just think it was like a really good moment to see her like be able to finish the game for the team because she doesn't really get the recognition. When people think about Dallas, it's all right, it's Enrique, and now that Natasha Howard is back, it's Natasha Howard, and then eventually Satu will come along. So it's just like nice to see there was somebody else that like, okay, they kind of iced the game for us.
Yeah, Tierra McCowan was like her and Enrique. That was just a matchup nightmare down the stretch in that game for LA. Tierra McCowan is actually second in the league in field goal percentage for players that take at least 8 shots a game. She she's so patient around the rim, and like that's so big for her and so big for Dallas. I know that they've had a rough go of it this season. A lot of it being injury related. They might have the worst injury luck in the league. I wish I had the numbers for number of games lost to injury. I think the Sparks are not far off, but they've had a rough go of it this season. But Tierra McCowan is so valuable to what Dallas should be looking to do going forward. And yeah, I was very impressed with her play down the stretch of that game.
Yeah, anytime you can come back from 92 to 73 in a 10-minute quarter. Like I also that'd be really the biggest thing for me when we talk about WNBA stuff is not only do this stuff be happening, but it be happening in 10-minute quarters, 40-minute games. Like there's just so much less room for error. So like just the playmaking, the shot making, all that stuff, like it's so much more important. And yeah, I just it it's really beautiful to see. So unfortunately, I really do feel like this is a lost season for Dallas, just because of all the injuries they've had and everything else. But I really do think next year, if they make efforts to improve their roster and not just bring on however many rookies again, Lord knows they don't need to draft no one else. We said this last year and they still managed to do that. Don't draft nobody else. Just make some trades and call it a day. They absolutely can be in the hunt for like a championship because they have the pieces, and even if they're not, at least they can acquire them with what they have. They have so many young players that I know for a fact teams would want or use, or even like their older players. I feel like somebody would want. I mean, I don't, and this might just be me. I feel like somebody might do okay. Do y'all feel like if the Wings were championship contenders, does that have to involve Natasha Howard?
Yes. At this current at this
Yeah,
current rate, yes.
yeah.
They
The way that the team is built now, they would need her. Yeah,
I will say though, because I think Natasha Howard does, she, like I was saying earlier about the Tina Charles thing, like she's a player that's like, she's a veteran, so she's like, okay, I'll take the shot. Like somebody gotta shoot it. We gotta get a board up. It might not be a perfect shot, but if she can make something shake. And so if you don't have her, you need someone to replace her. And I'm not really sure there are too many other people out there that they can replace her with, especially if they are continuing with this Sevi experience. Because if you say you have Odyssey Stems instead of Sevi, then maybe you could get somebody maybe you could get rid of Natasha Howard and you can get maybe I would have to think about that.
Yeah, the
But
Wings have
I
some.
think,
Sorry.
no, I was just saying I think she's replaceable if you get a Odyssey or a veteran point guard. That a veteran, like, kind of scoring, kind of pass first. Because I don't know, I don't really think Odyssey's a pass first point guard per
yeah. She,
se,
yeah,
but she's like, she knows how to settle the game down when it matters. So you have to have, I think her scoring ability makes it easy to say, okay, if we get her, we could maybe replace Natasha, but like, I don't know who I would have to sit and think about who I might swap her with.
I think we met the
hmm
one day might have to do episodes on like, or just like we could sit and think about, make our own list of teams every trades every team can make like at least like one, and then that might be
Mhm.
something that we could like do an article about. I think that'd be interesting. Um, but yeah,
I
the only
got,
reason
I got
why
a, I have a Dallas question.
the the only reason why I was asking about Natasha Howard is because I know this is a big league and it's definitely not getting any not people are saying like Jay, I think we talked about this with Dre and Grant, but people were talking about this becoming more guard centric, and it's definitely not. But
It's
like
not. No,
when you have Satu, Natasha Howard, Tierra McCowan, Maddie Segrist, Kalani Brown, and Stephanie Suarez, it's like mm, 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 mm.
see, there's almost, I don't know. See, I don't want to do too much like diagnosis on the wings because everybody's been hurt. So I can't even like I can barely go off of what I've seen. But I will say like Jermaine said, um if you're gonna have Sevi running your one, you need a big that's willing to score with volume. So um
But what's your question? Sorry, I
yeah,
don't
I
want you
don't
to
know.
forget it.
Oh no, I didn't forget. Yeah, I think Satu leaves.
Okay, well, I have a follow-up question. Where is she going?
I'll say it's not gonna be too many teams that wouldn't make her an offer. So
Oh wait, hold on. Is this last year?
I think so.
I gotta look at who's gonna have cap space.
Is my hot take is maybe this is a hot take, but is Satu as good? Is Satu carry a team good?
Mm. I don't think so.
Carry a team
I don't think
good?
so
No.
either.
No, I don't think so. I think, but here's the thing: like, she's a player that every team wants. Every team wants a player like that because she can do like she's so scheme versatile. I don't know if she is like she can be a number one. I think she can be a number one scoring option. She can't. I don't know if she can be a every night. She got to give us 30. I don't think she's that. And
Okay.
maybe she can be.
And that's kind of why I feel like her and Enrique work.
Mhm.
Um, because I don't want to say it's like I don't think she'll be like a Marina, right? Where it's like they got Marina went to the Sky and they thought she would be a I mean, I guess she was a first option, and we very clearly saw that like that's not sustainable.
Right, right. Like first option Marina is not that's not getting you to the level you need to be at.
Right. This is not like championship basketball. Um, and I don't want to say that I think Satu is obviously better than Marina, but I don't think that she's so much better that I would be like I maybe want her to be option one.
I think she can be option one. I just like you said, the dynamic of her playing next to Arike, I think is kind of perfect for both of them because I like the dynamic of a versatile off-ball wing that can that can, you know, guard multiple positions, can also get to her spots on the floor while having a guard that's willing to take those shots. That's why Satu and Sabrina were so fun to watch when they were at Oregon. Like it's the same concept to me. So I think with a dynamic guard, I could see Satu being a leading scorer, but not necessarily not like what we see from like Stewie or Asia on a nightly basis. I think that's a little
Yeah.
different.
I
Yeah,
think
I just think of her as like a better Kelsey Mitchell. For like how Kelsey Mitchell is playing this season. And because like Kelsey Mitchell, I'm pretty sure she's our leading scorer. Like
Probably.
Kelsey Mitchell will get you a bucket, but Kelsey Mitchell as option one on a championship team? Suspicious. Suspicious. Suspicious.
it's funny because I was about to say I feel like if you added Satu to the Fever next year, I think y'all would be really, really good. Especially if Caitlin and Aaliyah taking because if Caitlin and Aaliyah take another jump, I really think she could change y'all life.
Wait,
I,
wait. So listen. Kelsey Mitchell is a free agent after this season. All I'm saying is there's one or two places that money could go. Yeah, I think Indiana would be I think Indiana would be a seamless fit actually.
so I'm looking at teams with cap room. Chicago Sky has the most right now at 170,000. The Los Angeles Sparks have 131,000. The Phoenix Mercury has 82,000, but they're excommunicated. They don't serve anything. The Mystics have 69,000, and the Fever have 66,000.
Well, we're gonna be free from Kelsey Mitchell and Erica Wheeler.
Erica Wheeler.
We gonna have the money.
Right.
We gonna have. I
And
wouldn't be opposed to.
it's I'm just looking at the teams at cap room, and I'm like, I don't really think it makes sense for her to go to the Sky because they already don't have they already have poor spacing, so it's gonna be them, her, Angel, and Camilla, and E Will, and Kennedy, and it's still gonna be nasty. The Sparks, I mean, they it's just not gonna be enough to like put them over the edge. I mean, it will be interesting to see Rickea, Cam, De'Erica, Satu, and Paige or some shit like that. Like I think that'd be fun. Um, but I think it'd be a while before they turn the corner. And again, they just wouldn't have that much spacing. Um, Phoenix, again, excommunicated. They don't deserve anything. Washington, her and Shakira, but then you already have Aaliyah Edwards, and it's just like, I don't know. But
No,
y'all,
but Satu can play the three.
I
Yeah, you
mean,
can put her at a three.
yeah, but
And you
it's
can.
like she could play the three, but her on Washington isn't. They're not winning with her. I mean,
Oh,
they'll win games definitely, but they're not winning no championship. I think y'all could be poised to win a like championship. Y'all already are on a crazy run right now, either way, and like y'all are. I think y'all are one of the hottest teams in the league at this juncture. So I'm just saying, adding Satu to that, she y'all second, third option on any given night. Man, a couple games she might be feed the hot hand. That look real good to me.
I think it'd be a cool fit. Y'all already know who I don't want. I mean, free me from that lady with the baby. Um, I'm so sorry to that lady, but you know, she's a very nice woman, but I'm sick of seeing her. I'm sick of seeing her. She's been doing better though. She's been doing better. Um, I got a slightly question. I understand that Paige is supposed to be the number one pick, right? But what do we do when the Sparks take Kiki Iriafen?
I don't
Um, I
mind that.
yeah, I don't think they can lose either way, honestly. Um, I mean, it would change the role for somebody like De'Erica. I'm assuming that they'd be looking to move on from her eventually if they were to take Kiki and pair her with Cam. But I feel like I feel like the Sparks would be fine either way. Because if that's the case, I would assume that Paige goes to Washington, which I also think is fine.
I think Washington needs her more. But that's a crazy front court for the Sparks. You got Azare, Rickea, De'Erica, Cam, Kiki, and Leah Rue. I'm moved a little bit. I'm kind of moved by that. Now
Yeah,
we're gonna
that's a
have to figure the guards out, but I'm moved by that.
matter of fact. Matter of fact, one of them bigs might have to slide to the three. It's some of them lineups.
Been getting her 3-point shot off. She can be a three. You know, Rickea can be a three. So you know what I'm saying? We got. I moved. I don't know. The guards, we're gonna have to figure something out. I still like Ari with them, but
Yeah, I do too.
we get some
If
some lead.
they take Kiki Iriafen, that means everybody over 6'4" on that roster has to hit the shoot machine because Lord knows y'all are gonna need it. Um, it like again, Jay, Mega Ball. Rickea at the
Yeah,
two.
mega ball. Matter of fact, I
Rickea
was say, we might Rickea might be the two. If we go,
Ari at the one, or Aaron McDonald at the one, Rickea at the two, De'Erica at the three, Kiki at the four,
Kiki at the four,
Cam at the five. Let's get negative.
and then you go have Azare and Leah Rue coming off the bench.
Let's get all the way negative. If we don't score, y'all don't score either. You better not come in this paint.
Be a world class mini group though, because you already got Rickea and Kiki mini already. She's gonna quickly rise up the list.
Hey, listen,
So
as soon as Kiki put on a WNBA jersey, she is like top 10 middies in the league.
she's like actually baby Asia Wilson. So like, you know,
Listen, they be calling people baby Asia, but that really is baby Asia. That game against Iowa State,
Iowa
40,
State, yeah.
that moved me. That was really, that was all I needed to see. That cemented it for me. That movement was just too uncanny. I just look every bucket. I'm like, I've seen that before. It's older and a little bit more developed, but I've seen that before. You stealing swag, and it looked good. But yeah,
Oh, I have I got a question. It's about the Aces. The Aces feel very it feels kind of deja vu-ish watching them play because to me they look a lot like last year's Liberty team.
ugh,
And
ugh.
let me explain why, okay? Because it feels like when I watch them play sometimes, it feels like things get out of sorts down the stretch, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we got Asia. She'll figure something out." And that was how the Liberty looked last year because they'd get into a rut, and like we talked about it a lot, how JJ wasn't really comfortable in her offensive role, and how Sabrina has made huge improvements this year, but last year they weren't really comfortable with her taking the majority of the on ball reps, and it was kind of all right, Stewie, go do something, and we'll be all right. And that's kind of how the Aces have felt to me this year. And I I love it for Asia's MVP case. I don't love it for the Aces though, because it didn't show up. It didn't show up too bad for the Liberty last year until they got to the finals. But that was when it really showed. It was like they don't they haven't fully incorporated JJ into this offense. Sabrina's ability as a ball handler and as a driver, her ability to get the pull-ups you know, that aren't threes. It feels it feels like Vegas is kind of at a point where if Asia don't have it going, we might as well pack it up and go home. Now, obviously, it's something that can come as the season progresses, and I expect them to, hit some sort of a stride. Obviously, they can get to the playoffs, and none of this is gonna matter because they're just that good of a team. Like we saw it last year, we saw it the year before. But I don't know what it is. It's like one of the guards has to step up. It doesn't really matter which one it is because they're all, you know, the best of the best. But like Kelsey being able to hit those shots when they open, or being able to put the ball on the floor, get to the rim. Uh, Jackie being more aggressive with the ball. There has to be something because, like, I'm watching this game right now with them playing against the Wings. Asia's got 39 points, and it's like a 1 point game. So it feels like the same thing.
And you know, like I was really trying to figure out like what it is. At first, I was thinking, okay, it's um not having Chelsea, right? They got Chelsea back. They looked a little bit better, but then it was like some still ain't some still not right. Um, and I do think a lot of it has been like, at least recently, is that Jackie hasn't been doing her normal 15, just giving her intensity on both sides of the ball. I feel like she's been lacking that a lot. But the real drama, I think, is Kia Stokes. And I think Becky was trying to go with Alicia Clark like early in the season. And I really don't like the Alicia Clark as a starter thing. I just feel like it's not really, I feel like that for whatever reason throws her out of rhythm. And it's not something I want. Like, we got to stop that experiment. It don't work. It don't work. We got to do something different. And I think like, I think it's Kia, and I think it was interesting having Meg run that like in that starting lineup, and I actually liked that. I thought it looked good. And honestly, even when they set down Asia and they had everybody else out there, Meg looked really good. But I think it's gonna require like Kia Stokes to be a threat. Because I feel like she's not, and maybe it's the uncomfortableness around her injury. Um, so maybe she just doesn't feel like I can do anything. But it's like, Buki, you gotta at least get out there and get some blocks. Like I want you to be out there a shooting threat, but if you ain't gonna shoot it, you gotta at least defend the paint like your life depend on it.
Yeah, I think it needs not to say it needs to be key. It needs to be a big. I don't, and I think that they probably feel like Alicia Clark as the fifth is their best lineup because it allows them to switch. But I feel like you need to start with a big because from now to the playoffs, do you want 35 minutes of Asia playing the five and guarding the five on the other end? I don't think you do. Not to say that she can't do it, but it's a lot. It's a lot to ask. So
And
I
do
feel
I
like feel like it has to be a big.
and I think too, it just be like, I just feel like Alicia be looking so burnt out. Like when like she's doing so much on the defensive end that like when it's time for her to shoot the ball, she just like can't get right. And it's like you need her to shoot the ball. Like you that's what you need her to do. Like you don't need her to do 15, but we need at least 6, maybe 10. We need 6 to 10. So you got to get out there and do something. And yeah, I think yeah, Akia got to either really step up that. I think honestly, she just need to step up the defense, like really go back to trying to protect the rim, and kind of getting in getting to that. And I think that'll make them look better because I feel like Chelsea is coming along. Um, Jackie, I think will shake back. KP is always, you know, she got to get her booze. She stinks every 3 games. So and she cool, you know what I'm saying? She's fine, but and I think I like the way Meg is like starting to fit in the lineup, but I too think that Becky has to like keep her in there. Like, don't ruin that lady confidence. Like, let her play it out. She make a few mistakes, keep her out there. You get let her work through it, especially as they're, I mean, I know they're trying to get a good seed in, but I would rather her rise to the occasion later than just, look like a deer in the headlights when it finally comes showtime.
All I need, honestly, I would rather Meg be at the 5 and and for them to figure it out. But I don't know. I know Nakai posted them numbers earlier, and the numbers were in Alicia Clark's favor. But on court, that shit do look kind of crazy. So I don't know. Again, I can't really be like too mad. They've already won 2 championships, and although the production on the court looks kind of foul, they've won 2 championships. Like, I can't not believe in them when the time comes. And realistically, because they won 2 championships, as much as I complain, these niggas got immunity for me personally. Like, realistically, when it comes down to it, I love all these niggas. Like, if y'all thinking it up, whatever, it's fine. I can't help but feel like they'll figure it out at some point. And if they don't, it'll be fun. It'll be fun while it lasted. All I'm asking is if this shit don't work this year, just go. We need to go back to the drawing board. That's all I'm asking. Because it's obviously when shit don't work, but niggas figure it out at the end, it's fine. Like for the past 2 championships, I felt like KP did hit the road even though we won. Because it just did. But if y'all, you want to keep us working together, I get it. But if this shit don't work next year, send her ass to Washington. That's all I'm asking. Just make some changes. Alicia
Feel
Clark
like
older, Chelsea Gray older, Asia is entering her prime, is in her prime, and she's gonna be in it for at least like 3-4 years. Just do whatever you can to maximize that window. Is all I ask.
feel like the I heard somebody say they're not the boogeyman no more because it's like I feel they're fourth in the standings. I I feel like there are 4 teams that feel like we want Vegas in the first round. I feel like there's 4 teams that feel like I like our chances against them. And last year it wasn't like that. Last year it was like everybody trying to avoid Vegas at whatever seed. This year is different. This year teams feel like we got the personnel, we got the defensive versatility, we can switch schemes up, and we can be the ones to beat them. Now, whether they can or not remains to be seen. But I feel like It's just this is kind of uncharted territory for them because now everybody got their number. So this is I'm sure this is what they expected when they're looking for a third straight championship because duh. So I think they up for it, but we'll see.
This Chelsea great
Hey,
pull up
look,
is not.
I'm gonna stick beside them. You know, I'm gonna stick beside them, but they just. I think I'm just more so concerned because I feel like they look unprepared. Like it's like they almost look like they weren't expecting other people to retool. And it's like, no, sisters, y'all had to know. Like y'all saw the off season. Like y'all saw what they did. And maybe Candace retiring like really, fucked up the vibes. Because my sister did not need to do that. But maybe that really ruined the vibes early on. Things ain't been right since training camp. But I don't know. They just seem so like lost. Everybody but Asia, of course. Everybody else, Asia is like, all right, like I got to work over the summer. I'm ready to, drag us. I'm ready to do whatever I got to do. And everybody else look like, well, we here. You know what I'm saying? I love her. Like, we gonna do whatever Becky say. Like, that's maybe not what we, maybe we should have, I don't know. I'm gonna stick beside him though. I'm gonna stick beside him.
I just think the older players look old. Like this, and of course, we all love Chelsea Gray, and when she came back, I think the Aces won 9 out of 10 games, and then I think they only lost like 2 games before All-Star break. So they went on a really crazy run. It just hasn't translated to post All-Star break. But she is obviously working through injury, and she just does not look the same. And that is okay. I mean, sometimes shit happens. Like you lose a step. But she obviously does not look like 2022. Before, when I would see her prepping for that step back pull up, I'm like, damn, this is guaranteed to be cash. And now it's kind of pissing me off. And it's just like,
okay, not too much because 2 games.
I did say kind of. I said kind of.
No, I would have let you have that. But these last 2 games, y'all not gonna do too much on my girl now. She was looking crazy a couple games ago, but she got right now. She got right now.
Listen, Jay is my witness. She looking crazy right now. She looking kind of crazy right now. Jay is my
hold
witness.
on. Let me look at the splits because she ain't look crazy for just a second.
I didn't see her take 3 step back shots in this fourth, and all them shit's been not going in. So I don't know. But
bro, she 4 for 8. You're bad vibe.
I'm just telling you what I seen in this game.
We know you don't be seeing because you hate KP. And every time you drag KP, she put up 40. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe you need to get back in your bag. Maybe you need to get back in your bag.
I might just need to turn it off. But yeah, again,
I wanted to, because I feel like it's gonna be fine, but yeah, like I said, we could get to the playoffs and Chelsea Gray just decide not to miss a shot again, and we we end up being like, oh, you remember when we was worried about them, like, but you never know.
I will say this. I know them top teams not scared. But if the Aces play Connecticut, they beating the shit out of them. And maybe that ends up not being the case, and I have an egg on my face. But I don't want to play Liberty until the finals. Dear God, no. To be honest, I really don't want to play the Lynx. If we got to play the Lynx before, like at any point, I think we're cooked. I think if we play the Lynx, I think Fee
The link,
is giving niggas noogies, but Connecticut, I just them niggas can't. Them niggas don't scare me. I think she's sending Dewana and AT on a honeymoon on a vacation together, and Seattle
I,
kind of. Seattle's really good.
Oh,
Seattle is really good, but also them niggas ain't done enough to scare me yet. Yet,
if
but
I'm if
Liberty and the Lynx, stay the fuck away from me.
see, I feel like of those four, if I'm Vegas, I would most want to see Seattle, I think.
Yes,
Mostly because they've had the least amount of time to gel. But the other side of that is playoff variance, and you got Jewel Lloyd and Skylar Diggins Smith and Nneka Ogwumike and Gabby Williams. So, you know, none of them are easy matchups. I feel like I'd most want to play Seattle if I'm them.
for
But
me, it goes.
it's really no fun being had. Matter of fact, um, are the Aces the four right now? How can they get to three? Because New York, because if y'all stay in the four, y'all will have New York in the second round.
The thing is, we had a chance to beat three by winning more games, and we just decided to not. So I don't think. Let me see. Uh, shit. I'm at the schedule.
I hate when it.
So the Liberty, the Sun, the Lynx, and then it's the Aces. I think at the break, the Aces and the Lynx were like tied, or they were only like one game back from the Lynx, and the Lynx beat these niggas 2 times in a row. So they have to play. They're more than likely gonna play the Storm first round, and then they're gonna have to play the Liberty. They could have been a third or second, and it beat the shit out the Mercury or the Fever, and then
You would have had the links. So
it's like, ew, I'm stuck. Either way, oh god, ugh,
is
nasty,
it? Yeah, yeah.
bro. I don't want to. I don't
I'm
want
sorry to. I'm sorry to to leave you on such a somber note.
to. Dude, I really think Fee is gonna stuff these niggas in the locker, and I know this nigga husband is gonna be talking so much shit. Like Asia about to get this unanimous MVP, and Fee is gonna do Asia like, or Fee is gonna do the Aces like Hakeem did Dave Robinson, and it's just gonna be so much shit to be said, and I'm not gonna be able to defend it. Like I'm all I'm be able to say is a regular season award, and that's all. I can't say nothing else.
Ryan, you need to defend them better. You stand on business. Like, you need to ride for them.
I'm watching these niggas on the court right now. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, they're about to lose.
Listen,
This nigga Asia got almost half these niggas points, and I'm pretty sure I just watched a contested mid range pull up by Jackie Young to put us up by one. What are we doing? Well, what's going on here?
listen.
I can't defend that.
Then you're not a real supporter because you
No,
need to always be
no,
able to defend it.
You need to have that back.
I'm not a stand. I don't care how much I love these niggas. If they stinking that shit up, I'ma say it. I can't defend certain stuff. I'm sorry to tell you. I love the Aces. I don't stand them niggas. When they being ugly, I gotta say y'all being ugly. I don't love the Celtics since '09. Now, I'm the first nigga to say they stink when it come down to it. So
Okay, but you could
some
you know
shit not
position because if they're the fourth seed, if they stay the fourth seed and everything stays the same.
Ew. Why did we do that? Oh my goodness gracious.
I missed it.
Yeah, I no, yeah. Just know the Aces lost the game.
Well, it was up, but
It
I don't
was
know
a
what happened.
What the
yeah,
fuck was that?
it was a less than it was more it was kind of what I was saying. It was like it's 4 seconds left. Asia, please save us.
Nigga. I I know I wanted the ball in Asian hands when they were down by one and they could have took a good mid-range jumper. I did not want the ball in Asian hands to take a three with 1 second left. I understand she had been hitting them bitches, but this is not a movie. I need the shot pass. Jackie was supposed to pull the shit out of that. Oh,
Well,
I know I just talked shit
Is
about
it a okay?
Chelsea Gray looking
Is
older. I'd rather shoot that step back again. I didn't need that.
is it a do you feel like they not confident in their shots? Because like even watching the game against Chicago, I felt like they were generating good shots and they were just missing. So it was like, what more can you do?
yeah, I feel like Jackie especially is like not like being confident in her offense right now. I mean, she looking at her the score, she had a good night tonight, relative. Um, but they just don't seem comfortable. And
I don't think Jackie has the same confidence she had at the beginning of the season when Chelsea wasn't there. I will say that. I think when they were saying that Jackie was like fourth in MVP voting or like fourth in like something like that, and she was like top 5 in points and assists, and she just has so much free reign, and all she was getting like turnovers, she was still confident with the ball. She's definitely not doing the same thing as before. And I really think that's what it is. Um, so, you know, again, when the chips are down, the playoffs, I think somebody will step up. It's just a matter of when. But as of now, they pissing me off. And that's okay.
it'll be okay. I mean, I don't know. I need Connecticut. I just need the Liberty to lose, honestly. I don't need Liberty to lose. I need Connecticut to win. Um, I would like to see Minnesota beat Liberty in the semifinals. Um, honestly, if yeah, I would like to see that, but only because I'm a hater. Um, also because again, but seriously, if Sandy don't win that championship, I don't want to hear about first runner up, none of that. If she don't win that championship, she gotta go too.
Yeah, this is the Liberty's year, honestly. And they've just been far and away the best team in the league. Like like I looked right before we started. They have the number one offense. They have the number one defense. They're number one in net rating. Like they got it. Like
Oh my god. What is
yeah,
defense too?
yeah.
So we
They've
starting the Stewie Depoy Award?
all right. So I do
Dang,
have
don't
no
feel
no no
that.
no no
Don't
no
feel
no no
that.
no
It's
no
a
no no.
competition win.
Stewie is not depoy. She's not my depoy. I do have her on a do have her on a defensive team, but she's not the depoy. Um, but they just they're just playing at a level above everyone else right now. And they did most of this without Benazer. Like she's been gone for a minute now. I know that she's I think she's supposed to be back um this week. But yeah, it's been I think I think the Liberty should be favorite to win the championship this year.
No,
Nightmare is becoming actualized.
it is. I can't even really be a hater because I have to be like, damn, Leonie Fevich, where have you been? Oh.
And it's so crazy because I will I just remember in the beginning of the season, I said the Liberty did not do enough in the offseason to get better. And Sabrina said bet. And she just got right. And a Phoebich was absolutely enough. A Phoebich and a Sabrina jump and Jonquel getting more comfortable is all they needed. It's funny, like
Bro,
Stewie being not like Stewie's the best player on that team, but Sabrina playing like the best player on that team has unlocked what they needed.
Yeah, they needed her to embrace being the point guard, and I feel like they weren't ready for her to do that last year. Which I mean, Sloot obviously did a great job. They got to the finals, but the jump from Sabrina, the way that she's been willing to balance the way that she looks to score and the way that she looks to get teammates involved, the the high screen and roll with her and JJ that can go into a pick and pop, that can go into whatever. Like it's great basketball. I'm afraid. So yeah, it's just that, and it's funny because the 3-point shooting from Stewie has been below what we're used to seeing from her, and it doesn't matter because defensively she's looking, scheme versatile, being able to guard multiple positions. She can roam. She can, provide weak side help if JJ is guarding the post. Like there's so much that they've been able to do, and now they getting Benaja back, so that adds another wrinkle to their defense.
and the crazy thing is like I really wanted to be a hater and be like, oh, well, did the Liberty's bench get better? Or was it the Sabrina Ionescu jump? And then Leonie Febich became the fucking plus minus god for like 7 straight games. And I was like, well, clearly it was the bench. I got out of like it. Clearly, they fucking both got better. I can't.
I ate my words. I'm so this is really like the two the Liberty and the Lynx are the two teams that I'd had to apologize the most to so far this season. I'm never scared to admit I was wrong with presenting more information, but Lord knows I didn't think the Liberty did not nearly enough. I did not know they were just gonna run the table like this, and I didn't think the Lynx was going to either. The Lynx done snatched the Aces chain, but 3 damn times, and like I don't know. It's if I had to make a list of championship contenders, the Aces are not on it. The Aces are finals contenders, but they are not championship contenders at this current juncture. So they got what they 18 and 12. They got 10 more games to figure that shit out. But is there anything else on the agenda?
The one thing that we didn't talk about, and we don't need to talk about it for a long time because we've been here for a long time. But we just need to be on record to say that for what I agree with Natasha Cloud, and the officiating has been disgusting. It was already bad at the beginning of the season, but post All-Star break, it has been absolutely atrocious. Like, we don't know what a take foul is anymore. Sometimes contact above the head gets called, sometimes it doesn't. Somebody will literally foul somebody, no call, and they'll do it on the other end and it'll get called. And a lot of people seem to think it's team specific, thinking, okay, well, if it's the Fever or if it's the Liberty, then the calls are swayed in their favor. Which, maybe depending on who you are, that might be true to you. But honestly, I think it's disgusting across the board. Like, I don't think I've watched one game this season where I've been like, damn, this officiating was actually kind of even. Sometimes you're biased because you want your team to, get better calls, but like, I don't think I watched a single game where I was like, damn, they called that pretty fair. And at least a few times last season, I could have been like, all right, the disparities, every now and again, we see a 16 free throws to 4 free throw game, but I feel like it's happening so much more often now for just about every team in the league. And the WNBA has to do something about it. Like, I don't know if we need to all go back to officiating school, if we need to come out with a 10-minute video on what a foul is and what's not, or if we need to, do some tryouts for refs. We gotta figure something out because it's getting bad, and I would hate to see this officiating continue into the playoffs because it's gonna make the product worse. And rant.
I would just say about refing, I think refing is extremely hard to do in any sport because you can never satisfy anyone. Honestly, I think you're doing a pretty fine job if niggas don't know your name. But yeah, WNBA refs. I think what makes WNBA refs bad is that the physicality they would allow in other sports, they don't necessarily allow in the W. So they're very like quick to call certain things when there's any sorts of physicality. Certain players get punished for being bigger. And this happens in the NBA too, but like at a certain point, we can't do that. Like Natasha Howard, Tierra McCowan, BG, like you have players who Aaliyah, like they just get punished for being bigger and stronger than other players. Um and like they just don't really let them display emotions in the same way. And I think that's the main thing I just don't like. It's like these people are professional athletes for a reason, and just let them hoop like professional athletes. But is there anything else on the agenda? Well, that's been another episode of Pull Up 3. Um, I don't know what else I was gonna say, but yeah, my name is Paragon Don,
And I'm Jay Trick.
and we will see y'all next time.